Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So this is going to be another Suicide Squad video. I know a lot of people are talking about the Jason, Todd, Robin, maybe that's who the Joker's secretly playing. I'm actually kind of hoping they don't go there just because I feel like Jason Todd is the person you roll out when you really want to stick it to Batman. And Superman is going to be doing that all over Batman v Superman. So like we're already getting that. I also feel like it kind of takes away from the myth of the Joker. Like, the Joker can't just be this really awesome character by himself. He would secretly have to be someone that Batman failed along the way, like one of the failed Robins. In the narrative of Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman, or mostly Batman v Superman, is that Batman has failed his family. They're already doing that, so they don't need to double down. But the story of how Batman failed, like quote-unquote failed, depending on how you look at it, Jason Todd, and how he went on to become the Red Hood is a really interesting story. I mean, they turned it into an animated movie. It's been done in the comics for a long, long time. There is this shot of Ben Affleck looking at the Robin costume that's been graffitied by the Joker, arguably after a Death in the Family type arc. That's why everyone is wondering, like, which Robin it is that the Joker killed. The problem is that under normal circumstances, if we knew they were adapting any kind of comic book arc, we would say, yeah, this is happening after Death in the Family, so this is Jason Todd's costume that we're looking at. But Zack Snyder has been very open about how, like, they haven't even gone close to the comics. The closest Batman v Superman is getting to comic book storylines is, like, visual imagery from Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, like this shot right here. So don't automatically assume Jason Todd, Red Hood, is coming down the road, but that is something that they could keep in their back pocket. The other Robin that people were talking about last year, like when we just had like behind the scenes leaks and stuff to follow, like we barely had any information about the production, was the Carrie Kelly Robin, because Jenna Malone is in the movie and nobody knew what she was doing. And because the movie looked very much like Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, people were assuming Carrie Kelly because she was the Robin of that story. It also doesn't help that Holly Hunter is a ginger in this movie, but I feel like her character in this movie is too old to have been a Robin in a previous lifetime. Robin would always be younger than Batman. And Batman in this movie is supposed to be in his late 40s. Holly Hunter looks like she's the exact same age or maybe just like a little bit older. But let's use this to talk about our favorite Robins. And when you pull from all over the comics, like all over the continuity, they're an even 12. Even though everybody is totally in love with Damian Wayne right now because he's an awesome Robin. He's a great character. I feel like Dick Grayson is still the most famous Robin just because he was Robin for the longest period of time. He started out in Detective Comics number 38 in 1940 and didn't stop being the boy wonder until the early 1970s when he became the teen wonder. I feel like after 30 years, it's probably okay to let a character grow up just like a little bit. He really didn't become Nightwing till the 1980s, and that was during the Teen Titans phase. But it was like, they wanted to transition to a new Robin, and they wanted to give Dick Grayson, this character that had been popular for so long, this new life. So giving him this new persona was probably one of the best moves they could make. Otherwise they would have had to fridge him, and they hadn't got to the hardcore point when they were killing Robins off yet. In the continuity, just because he's the oldest of all Robins, like he's worked with Batman the longest, he is one of the first people to take the mantle of the Bat after Bruce Wayne dies or goes away. Bruce Wayne has this list of people that he feels like are capable of succeeding him. Dick Grayson is really high, if not at the top of that list. So as they were transitioning Dick Grayson to Teen Titans and the Nightwing persona, they brought in Jason Todd as the new Robin. He appeared for the first time in Batman 368, and that was in 1983. He didn't have a very long run as Robin. I feel like, it wasn't quite as successful, like he didn't quite live up to the level that the editors wanted him to. So that's when they did Death in the Family. Frank Miller and other artists and writers like him were taking the comics in this really hardcore direction, so they let the Joker kill him. He didn't come back as Red Hood, though, till Batman 635, so that was, like many, many years later. If you've been playing Arkham Knight, he's also a big part of that game, too. I won't say how, but I feel like everybody already knows. He even got to be Batman for a little while, or at least, call himself Batman during Battle for the Cowl. Even though Batman does have a contingency plan for who he wants to succeed him, not everybody agrees with that. So it's kind of like this Shakespearean tragedy. Battle for the Cowl was actually a pretty awesome story. The king dies and all the sons fight over who gets to be king next. So the next Robin was Tim Drake. He obviously came along just as Jason Todd was going out. His first appearance in the comics, just as Tim Drake before he became Robin though, was Batman 436. He didn't appear as Robin in the comics until like a couple issues later in Batman 442. He went on to take the Red Robin persona. Then we get to the Stephanie Brown Robin, the first female Robin. Technically, Carrie Kelly had been a Robin before that, but Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns isn't considered part of the continuity of the main comics. It's like a spin-off universe. She was also known as Spoiler for a brief period. She kind of went through like a death rebirth type arc, just like Jason Todd. Not quite as hardcore, but still she had a really tragic past. Then she went on to become Batgirl. I feel like she has a lot of fun Batgirl stories. I like her more as Batgirl than I liked her as Robin or Spoiler. And then rounding out our main continuity, the most current Robin is Damian Wayne, who most of you have probably seen. Grant Morrison actually pulled him from the ether way back in the comics because he appeared as a baby in the comics as the unnamed baby of Talia al Ghul and Bruce Wayne. That was back in 1987. I think it was Batman Son of the Demon. Grant Morrison was the one that gave him the Damian Wayne name and pulled him into the main continuity and was like, look, this is a person, he grew up. Now he's yours to take care of. Sort of like Talia al Ghul is leaving a baby at the fire station. Here you go, he's all yours, enjoy. So his first appearance in the main continuity as a fully formed character was Batman number 655. He didn't become Robin though till the self-titled Batman and Robin storyline that Grant Morrison wrote. That started in 2009, and he has basically been the hardcore Robin ever since, but he's gone through a lot of different iterations. They even gave him a death and rebirth arc, which was actually really good. But that's only 5. What about the other 7? So first there's the Carrie Kelly Robin that I talked about in Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns storyline. And then the other 6 were all from the same storyline. There was a group of Robins from a story called We Are Robin. That's actually taking place this year, as we speak. So if you're a big fan of Robin, it's an interesting take on the character. The idea behind introducing all these Robins is just to kind of showcase the diversity of Gotham City. So they're trying to elevate the myth of Robin, while answering the question why, Batman would take a child and put them on the streets, put them in danger. Why do these teens feel like they need to go out and fight crime? Why are they taking the mantle? You guys can kind of decide whether you like it or not, the way they play with the Robin mythos. Some people just like there being one Robin, one Batman, but every once in a while I feel like there's so many Batman and Robin comics, they have to mix things up. So I do give them bonus points for trying something different, but we'll see if they stick the landing. Right now there have only been 2 issues of that series, so it's a little too soon to tell. Most of my pull list right now is Secret Wars and all the tie-ins. Captain America Warbound. It gives me such hope for some acid trip of a Marvel Jurassic Park crossover. Jurassic Wars, The Dark World. Just picture Chris Evans with a raptor pack riding on the back of a T-Rex that looks mysteriously red like the Red Skull. So here's my big question for you guys. Who is your favorite Robin from the comics and who are you hoping to see in the movies at a certain point? Like I said, it seems like the paradigm they're going with is a post-Robin universe. Batman has failed his family, so Robin died. The city's in ruins. Gotham City's going to shit. So, maybe by the time he picks himself back up in this Batman solo film, we'll see another Robin. But the modern films have always flirted with that idea. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is as close as we have gotten to a modern Robin in the movies. I feel like my favorite Robin right now has just been Damian Wayne, just because they've had a lot of fun with that character. He is as close as you can get to Deadpool, if Deadpool became a Robin. And there's the promise of the Batman that he will become someday when Bruce Wayne eventually dies. They've done some flash forwards in the comics where you see him wearing a Batman costume, like an adult Damian Wayne. His costume is kind of like a cross between Ra's al Ghul and Batman's cape and cowl. So I think what I'm going to do for my next Batman v Superman Suicide Squad video is it may be something on Harley Quinn. I haven't done a video on her in a long time. The closest we've gotten to her in the movies and TV shows so far has been Arrow. And since the movies cast her, that's totally not going to happen. But I would say of all DC characters, she is the newest, most popular female character that they've ever created. And she actually hasn't even been around for that long a time. I feel like a lot of people that like Harley Quinn like her for the same reasons that they like Damian Wayne. Just because they're kind of pure id at certain times. They say the unsayable. They say things to Batman and the Joker, respectively, that you can't get away with, that normal characters wouldn't be able to do. So in case you haven't seen it, I just did a Gotham trailer video in a history of the Batcave. You can click here to watch that. And that'll also have the other videos in my playlist for the new seasons of TV. I just did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3. They're doing Secret Warriors. You can click here to learn about what's going on with The Flash right now. They've just started releasing a whole bunch of information about the new season and Arrow too. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.